Hello, I'm Woody from the YouTube channel Woody Piano Shack, about making music with keyboards, synthesizers and music technology. Hello and welcome to wonderful Berlin with me, Woody. Yes, I'm here for a top secret product launch event from Yamaha, and I thought I'll give you the story of what it's like to be behind the scenes at the launch of the new Genos 2. So it all starts with an email from the product representative. Shout out to Jens from Yamaha in Scandinavia for thinking of me and inviting me. We had a video call. He told me the dates, where it would be, but nothing about which product it was. I had a bit of a hunch. I could kind of guess, I think, what it was based on some rumors on the internet, but Yamaha wouldn't tell me. So I was basically going to the event blind without knowing what it was. Although he did assure me that he was sure that I'd be interested in it and that my viewers would also be interested in it. These kind of opportunities don't come up very often, so I jumped on the chance even though I didn't know what it was. And Yamaha very generously offered to pay for the flights down here and the hotel as well. So yeah, a really generous offer. I was happy to accept. The next step is that you receive all the legal documents, the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, meaning that if you leak any of the information that you see at the event, then you'll be given a hefty fine and thrown in prison, probably. I did actually read the small print on the NDA and saw a point that confused me. It said that as a guest you were not allowed to take any of your own videos or photographs. And I normally would expect that to be the whole point of inviting me, right? To make a video and share it on my channel, but in this case only the official Yamaha video crew were allowed to do that. I double checked with Yamaha because it seemed a bit strange, but yes, that was the policy. They were a bit worried that perhaps I didn't want to come because of this, but I said, absolutely not, that's fine. It's great to come and not have to work. I can just go and enjoy the event. So the day before, Tuesday, I meet up with Jens at Copenhagen Airport and we fly down together here to Berlin. And yes, you are correct. This is the Berlin Wall. It's just outside my hotel and I was astounded to see how much of it is still remaining. Yeah, let's go check it out. So we're down here by the water, by the river Spree, I think it's called. Here's the remaining parts of the wall over there. So we're on the west side. This would have been West Germany, West Berlin. Over there where the hotels and offices are now. Behind the wall, that's the east side. So on Tuesday, I didn't have any commitments, so I was able to meet up with some of my friends at Native Instruments, who, as you probably know, are also based here in Berlin. Thank you, Mick, if you're watching, for a really pleasant evening, but it did not end well. Later that night, I was tossing and turning in my bed. I just couldn't get to sleep. I was getting cold sweats. And then it started, every 45 minutes or so, off to the toilet and throwing up. This, I thought, by the way, was a really strong image. Yeah, amazing, amazing. I couldn't get a wink of sleep, and I started to be somewhat worried that I might not be able to make it to the event. I was, of course, desperately unhappy and disappointed for myself, but also feeling really bad for letting down Yamaha, who'd flown me all the way here. This is one of the famous paintings, by the way. The event started at 12 noon, so I stayed in bed till 20 to 12, climbed up, had a shower, and went down to the lobby for the mingle. By this time I was feeling a bit better and had a couple of Coca-Colas, and that put me on the right track. So there was an hour of mingling with the other attendees. There was a grand piano in the hotel lobby, which I went over and had a little play on, just to take my mind off the night before. Fortunately, there was some other musicians attending the event, of course, that were much better players than me, so they sat down and joined in. We even had a bit of a sing-song around the piano, which was really nice and one of the highlights of the event. So there were about 30 guests, I suppose, and most of them were journalists that perhaps had their own forum or YouTube channel. I didn't really recognize any of the people there. Most of them were from Germany. There were some Poles, Italians, Spanish, and I think I was the only guy from the UK or from Scandinavia. At 1 o'clock, it's time for the main event, and we are all ushered into a huge conference room in the hotel. Picture the scene, the lights are very subdued. There's a stage in the middle of the room, with obviously some keyboard on a stand in the middle, but there's a black cloth over it so you can't see what it is. To the side of the stage, there's two more of these keyboards covered up in a black cloth. There's some incredible lighting in there, a massive sound system, 3 or 4 Yamaha guys at the back handling all the audio visuals. Really impressive setup they had, actually. All the attendees take their chairs. We all have a little rucksack on the chair with some swag inside it, which is very nice. Thank you very much. The launch kicks off with a couple of teaser videos. Then some of the product managers from Yamaha got up on the stage and introduced us to the event and made us feel very welcome. Then it was time to unveil the keyboard, and the covers were pulled off. Nobody was all that surprised. I think we all knew pretty much what to expect, or at least what the new keyboard was. But yeah, a huge round of applause, of course. Then Martin Harris gets up on stage to demonstrate all of the new features of the keyboard. Now, if you're into the Tyros and the Genos, you'll know who Martin is. He's one of Yamaha's legendary demonstrators. I'm very impressed with him, actually. He's able to get up on the stage. He doesn't even sit down, he'll stand up, demonstrate all the features, play the most amazing music. He's a great musician, incredible stuff, whilst being entertaining, funny, and even smiling at the audience. Yeah, what a guy. It was truly inspiring to see him perform in the flesh. That video, or parts of it, and I think a separate video that they are recording on Friday, will be made available on Yamaha's YouTube channel, so do go and check that out. So Martin's official job title is not Yamaha Demo Guy. He's actually in a quite senior position in research and development, but as he joked himself, they occasionally let him out for good behaviour, and he is really good at doing the demos. After a coffee break, they took us up to the top floor of the hotel. The hotel, by the way, is an amazing music-themed hotel with a recording studio on the top floor and a live stage on the ground floor. But anyway, Yamaha had booked a room, a huge conference room with a massive rectangular table, and on that there were no less than 23 of the new Genos 2 keyboards. Incredible. And we were all invited to sit down and play them for a couple of hours just on headphones, so we didn't have to embarrass each other with our bad playing. And I didn't really know what I was doing. It's been a long time since I played my PSR keyboards, and I've never even played a Genos before, but the Yamaha reps were there and available, of course, to help us out and show us some of the new features. It was very cool. And that made me one of the very first people in the world to get my hands and play on the new Genos 2. which I'm not bragging about, but it does make me immensely proud. I was hoping to get one here in the house, to be one of the very first people to get one in their home, but it didn't transpire. Haven't got one yet, but it should be arriving any day now. And that's why we have nothing on the keyboard stand apart from some potted plants. And that was pretty much everything for day one. A really nice dinner in the evening with lots of beer, wine and drinks and so on, but I had to take it a bit easy, of course, because of my dodgy stomach. But wow, what a great day it was. On day two then, they divide us up into separate groups, and my group was the first to go into a real cool industrial contemporary area in Berlin and visit the Yamaha Synthesizer Museum. And wow, what a place! Some of the highlights for me, the first time I've ever seen the CS80. I maybe saw one as a kid in the music store, but I'm not sure. But this was the first time I got to play in it, and wow, what a sound. It did not disappoint. The sound of those filters and the polyphonic aftertouch, wow, it was amazing. Way ahead of its time, because now polyphonic aftertouch is all the rage again. They also had all of the montages, the motifs, which was nice to see. An amazing DX1, which was state of the art at its time. Just, yeah, I'll show you the photographs. What a machine and what a user interface, totally incredible. But one of the highlights for me actually was the CP80, or it may have been a CP70, the electric grand. I've played on one before, it was many years ago. Had another go at the event, and wow, what a beautiful instrument it is and how lovely it is to play. What a sound on those Yamaha electric grands. Yamaha asked all of the attendees if they would like to record a video testimonial, sort of talking about our highlights of the event, why we were there, our favourite features on the new instrument and so on. So yeah, I took the opportunity again. I've never done this before, but we were taken up to another studio in the hotel with an amazing rig. There was like 2 or 3 cameras, a whole video crew. There were 2 camera guys, there was a director, there was an audio engineer as well. I've never seen anything like it. And then I had to sit down in front of all of the cameras and the lights and deliver a few lines as a form of testimonial. It was a bit nerve-wracking actually. I had a bullet list of things that I wanted to say, but I don't think I delivered my lines very well. And it was a bit, yeah, I was a bit nervous, to be honest, with all of these people watching me, the whole crew. There were some other people from Yamaha, some of the other attendees. And you had to sit there and yeah, talk. I'm used to delivering my lines to a camera in an empty room, so this was a bit unusual for me. It's a good experience though. But you know how it is perhaps. Afterwards, I'm replaying what I said in my mind and I'm thinking, oh, I forgot to say this, or I should have said that, or I could have said it better, and I was torturing myself. I'd love to have done it again and made a much better job of it next time. It was pretty challenging, but a good learning experience, and I apologise to Yamaha if my testimonial was a bit subpar, and I apologise to you if you watched it and thought it was a load of rubbish. But I was doing my best, and now you know the backstory and why it perhaps wasn't perfect. I was a bit nervous, to be honest. The other thing is, of course, Yamaha want me to say nice things about the product, and I did have nice things to say, of course, but I don't want to come across as being salesy. I still want to be authentic to you, my viewers. But I think I struck a good balance there. I hope so, anyway. The other thing was my testimonial seemed to be about 20 seconds, and I saw some of the other guys talking very long and fluidly for what seemed to be about 20 minutes. So hopefully it'll come out okay. I will leave a link to my testimonial in the video description, so go and click on that if you want to hear what I had to say and see what it looks like when you have a professional video crew filming you instead of this. By the way, yeah, go and watch the video. Let's make sure that my testimonial is the most watched out of all of them. That would be fun, and you can help me with that. Thanks so much. So many of the attendees departed. The Yamaha people stayed on in the hotel for another day because they were going to shoot some more promo videos with Martin there once they had all the stage set up. Throughout the video, I've been using some clips from the official Yamaha event footage, so I will share a link to that video in the description if you want to go and watch it in its entirety and see if you can spot me. So you might be wondering then, what happens next? Will you be seeing the Genos on my channel? The answer, I'm happy to say, is most certainly yes. Yamaha have offered to deliver one to me that I can loan for a few months, so I can really get to know it and make some videos and feature it here on the channel. So if that's something that you're into, it might be a good time now to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and thank you if you already have. A huge thank you to Yamaha then for inviting me to the event. If you happen to be watching, a special thanks to Vivi, Laura, Jens, Toby, Martin and Simon. I really enjoyed meeting you and hope to see you again soon. I hope you found it interesting to hear what goes on behind the scenes at a synth launch event. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with some more Genos videos. Until then, cheerio. Okay, you made it all the way through to the end. Thank you so much. As a special treat, perhaps, I've got a little bonus segment just for you. At the end of World War II, the devastated and defeated Germany was divided up into different occupied zones. We had the Brits taking over parts of Germany, France, the US, and of course the Soviet Union and the Red Army took the eastern parts of Germany. And that was all fine and great, I suppose, unless you were a German citizen living in one of these occupied regions. But then after a few years, of course, the hostilities increased between East and West. And to make matters worse, a lot of the citizens living in East Germany and East Berlin really wanted to flee to the West instead, perhaps in search of a better lifestyle or better economy, or to escape persecution, just get some freedom basically. The city of Berlin happened to be where all of these different borders intersected, and this was where people from the East would flee to the West. This is obviously not a good thing for the East because it would eventually lead to economic collapse. So somewhat sneakily, in the middle of the night in 1961, if I recall correctly, soldiers came out in the middle of the night from East Germany and started putting up barbed wire fences here along the border. Within a few more days, this concrete wall had been established, and no longer could citizens from the East and West travel across the border and meet each other, which of course must have been totally devastating for families and people with houses on the other sides or working on the other sides. What an absolute screw up. How did it get that bad? And this wall that was authorized by Stalin became more and more secure over the decades, with various lines of fortifications and a kill zone in the middle where you would be shot if you tried to escape from east to west. But then in the late 90s, 1989, I believe, David Hasselhoff came over here, stood on top of the wall, knocked it down and sang a song about it called Freedom, I think, that was incredibly successful. Google it if you don't believe me. And now these are the last few remaining sections of the wall. On the other side, it's been used as a canvas for some amazing graffiti and art. So let's go there and I'll tell you the rest of the Yamaha Genos story. Another thing I noticed when playing the Genos 2, it's such a lot of fun and you just can't help having a huge smile on your face whenever you're performing.